Hello, and welcome to Berlin, Germany, for the opening round of the 5th season of EERC Formula E. My name is Edward Hunter, but you can call me Ed. And alongside me is Joshua Birch, who's going to help me cover this exciting electric racing season. So Joshua, after a dramatic three-way title decider in Marrakesh, which went the way of Ring of Honor Racing's Michael Koch, who actually wasn't even there at Marrakesh,
no,
as
he
it
missed
turned
it.
out. But he still did enough because Pascal Eggert and Norbert Precker both had a bit of a shocker, and neither of them were quite able to get enough points to overcome Michael Koch's total, as he won in Switzerland, in Zurich, which really put him in an unassailable position, although we didn't know it at the time, and neither did Michael. But he's in action again, looking to defend his title. And of course, we were hoping to do the new qualifying format. Unfortunately, we weren't quite able to get the dual system to work in our Factor 2s. We've got Jonathan Jones navigating and drifting through the new extended loop at Berlin, which we saw once in real life in 2020 when they did 6 races in 9 days. There were 2 races that took place on this extended loop, as well as the reverse layout and the typical layout that we usually see from Berlin. But anyway,
I don't know about you, Ed, but I kind of preferred the extended version that we had. I thought that was a lot better in terms of everything of racing. It was a lot better of everybody's time than this unusual layout that we usually race with.
Okay, you confused me there, because the whole point of calling it an unusual layout is the fact that we don't usually race with it.
Yeah, sorry, I meant the reverse layout was better than this one.
Oh, okay.
This version, but on reverse, is better than the forward version.
Okay.
If
That's
that
interesting.
clears it
I
up.
certainly think there's some sections of the track that are greatly improved in the reverse layout. The extended loop is a little bit fiddly and just tends to cause more crashes, but should be interesting in qualifying, trying to make sure the tyres don't overheat, because I remember in real life in Berlin, that was a huge obstacle. Is Abdelrahman Valid sets an invalid time, I think, and hits the wall.
Several drivers hitting the walls, left, right, and centre.
Yeah, of course, this is only practice. We haven't quite got into qualifying proper yet.
And it's Michael Steffel who's fastest at the moment on the boards according to my screens, although the cars are just getting ready to go into qualifying. So we're in for a very interesting session as well. And for the first time, I can actually hear the cars, so it's all going to go well at the moment. Into the points racing 27, of course, and as you said, the championship going the way last season of a driver who didn't even take part in Marrakesh.
It does feel like it was very recent, doesn't it?
It does,
As
doesn't it?
Rosinski actually sets the fastest time, but it's almost immediately beaten by Jonathan Jones in the 32, who we were watching earlier. And Jonathan Jones, from Into the Points, really impressed in the endurance series, actually.
Yes.
They scored another podium at Silverstone last Saturday.
Yes,
And,
in the
in
8 hours
LMP2.
race we had, yeah. And
Yes.
that seems like a lifetime ago compared to what we've had so far this week. I mean, today we've come off of F1 testing. Well, I myself has come off F1 testing. I don't know what you were doing, Ed, if you were watching.
I was travelling on a train.
You're probably
Yorkshire.
you're probably just as exhausted then, especially trains from Yorkshire. But it's getting interesting to be back. It's getting interesting that we finally got a 5th season of EERC with same regulations as what we had before, with qualifying groups coming up, which will be interesting. But 45 minutes of pure attacking, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you're going to have to tell me, Ed, when the clock strikes down, but this time, at least, I can hear the beeps of the lights rather than the seconds counting down, so it's all good.
Yes, I'll let you know how much time we got left in the session. This practice session should be over in the next 5 or 10 minutes or so, and we'll get into qualifying proper. But certainly, as we see Jonathan Jones complete a slightly slower lap than the previous attempt, as he... Oh, look how... It's more than almost 180 degrees through the first 2 corners, because they're so tight, aren't they, Joshua? That first
Massively,
corner,
yeah.
a little bit like the first corner at the Shanghai International Circuit, But it's just this constant radius that keeps going, and you have to really make sure you don't go too deep because you're just going in the wall.
Yeah, the first corner at this track in Shanghai incredibly similar.
Look at Jonathan Jones really struggling on the brakes, but he is purple in the first sector. Unfortunately, here he is in the extended section, which is tight and twisty, and he's got one of the Freya Bond cars holding him up. Let's have a look
to
as the camera goes.
Well,
That's Freya Bond Purple, one of their drivers.
It's the 4.
Number 4. Who is number 4? That would be Joe Blahoven, of course. Here he is.
Switching round. Yeah, so what was going on as well, to explain my point earlier on when I said about the alternate layout being the better one, it was the reverse layout is what I was meaning, gave us a lot better racing than the forward one. So, I don't know, it always seems a bit hollow for some reason, this part of the track, going forward.
You're really selling people on how exciting this race is going to be, Joshua.
Oh, Berlin's always exciting, don't get me wrong. Berlin is always an exciting
extended track,
one.
we got more track and a slightly longer race as we see Rosinski really...
Oh, drifting.
Yeah, it's letting the rear hang out like a sock that's not fit. He's doing that deliberately. Look at him. He's turning it into a rallycross machine.
Yeah, he's deliberately going for it all now, isn't he? He's trying to push as much as he can. Do get in touch on the YouTube chat as well. Let us know what you're all thinking of. I mean, I've got that up now as well on my other monitor, so at least I can keep an eye out on something. But it is delayed from what I am watching on our live TV pictures. So,
well, at the moment we're watching Rosinski stationary in the garage, so that's not too exciting as we struggle to keep the viewers' interest as practice continues, but shouldn't be going for too much longer. 8 people watching. One of them might be my dad and my brother.
9 now,
as we look at Steppel,
be,
again sliding as he goes past the attack mode activation point. Should remind people not familiar with Formula E, Joshua, how attack mode works.
Absolutely. So you get to activate attack mode twice, which gives you an extra boost of energy as well. It both last for 4 minutes, as there's a yellow briefly in the first sector. So they both last for 4 minutes during the race. You had to activate it twice.
Oh,
and he touches the wall.
Just hits the inside there at the hairpin.
That's Steffel in P2, isn't it, on board? So not going great there. And again under braking, snapping the rears. So a lot of pressure to get this regen energy back underway as well, of course, because the energy does matter in this championship. So they've still got to save their energy as much as possible.
Yeah, and we're often seen as we see Steffel spinning at the first corner and going back to the pit lane, thankfully. But we often see that the energy is a deciding factor and its management in these races. We saw recently in real life in Mexico, you and me were commentating at the time, Joshua, Porsche making the race last an extra, it was 2 seconds within missing the time running out. And of course there's the +1 lap in the, it's 45 minutes +1 lap as we look at Kosh, the reigning champion, really showing the car control that made him champion in the first place as he enters this extended loop section, which is effectively, let me just... I'm trying to get the track back up. Yes, it's turn 7 onwards through to turn 14.
Sonnevel's gone top on a 1:18.256. He's done 5 laps. Tobias Blumschein has gone into P5 as well, making his permanent appearance in the championship. And also, Rakovic is on a hot lap at the moment, and he's just coming into the extended section of the circuit as we watch on board with Sonnevel through this tricky section.
So, is it House Sonnevel? Is that how it's pronounced? But either way, he's the winner in Marrakesh, our season finale last time. And he won quite dominantly too. Tore off a big challenge from Nick Homewood in the opening laps. And then Homewood made a mistake and he was able to pull away. And we see him on another purple in first sector. So this looks like it's going to be another really quick lap as he powers towards the timing line. Let's hope the session doesn't tick over before he gets to finish it. As Milan Rajovic also sets a very good time, but Sonnevel sets a 1:17.7 and really laying down the marker. He seems a man very much in form, Josh, and looking to get his VMS Sun Edits car. Bright yellow, of course, although there's also an orange team as well, so you might think this looks orange, but there's another VMS car that's even more orange than this one.
And the VMS Sun Edits race...
Now against the wishbone, flies in the air as House hits it, and
There was a wheel off
also
as
a wheel.
well, wasn't there?
Yes,
Yeah.
the wheel was even more alarming. He did very well to avoid that, actually.
Just
But,
casual wheels flying, brake disc glowing, just the
normal
usual
day in
Formula E.
yes,
Yeah,
just
completely.
the bits of a missing car everywhere. As there we go. We're ticking over 5 minutes early, actually, to the qualifying session. Oh no, that's Sonneveld just going back to the pits.
I thought it
We've
was
still got 4
qualifying
minutes
for a
left
second.
then.
Yeah.
Uh,
4 minutes left of the session. Yeah, definitely. Before we all go.
and of
I've
course,
just remembered something. I've got to nip in to set up, otherwise I'm going to miss it. So I'll leave you with Ed for a couple of minutes.
sure thing. I will warble on and see if anyone in the chat wants to keep me company. The YouTube channel. We've got 9 people watching, so sounds like somebody else has tuned in. Wonder if it's anybody I know. If it is, hello, thanks for joining. So we are a few minutes away from the start of qualifying as we look at Dennis Viergner just going by. Oh, and really making a hash of things in the extended loop section through turns 15 and 16. He goes straight on, bounces off the wall into another wall. And that is sort of what that section is like as we look at the Iris pulling out in front of someone there. Was that Sonneveld? No, it was, I believe that was Tobias. There it is. It is. It's he, Tobias Blumschein, of course. Our good friend who has assisted with commentary duties at the Silverstone 8 Hours recently. I also had a starring role, nearly featuring the podium, but just having strategy issues. And it's a lovely livery that Team Iris have put together. Asymmetrical as well. You can see there's purple on the one side, blue on the other. Or is it black on one side and blue on the other? And purple in the middle is Tobias. Gives the wall a healthy dose of love there. Be hoping to avoid that in qualifying. But certainly a very quick driver. And we'll be watching out for a great battle between Blumschein and Nick Homewood, actually. Last time out in Marrakesh in the season finale. Fighting over second position. Ended up losing it to whoever. I believe it was.
Hi, Ed.
Do you remember who finished second in Marrakesh? It was one of the Irish drivers, wasn't it? I think it was Tane Lua.
I think I will double check because I've got it in my notes at the back of the comms box. So give me just a second. And
Because I was trying to remember who Tobias and Nick fought each other, and I'm pretty sure Lua was able to slip by both of them. And now Blumschein has gone over to the Iris. Tane Lua, who...
It was Tin Lawyer, you're correct.
Yes,
he
there we go.
finished second, yeah. Blumscheid was third. AK was fourth. Homewood fifth in that race. Sonneveld did donuts, if I remember correctly.
Yes. And let's not forget, of course, Iris riding high at the moment with their first win in the LMP1 at the 8 Hours of Silverstone.
Yeah. How much would they like to make it a race win here with Jeff Close and Tobias Blumschein as well?
Yeah, 2 very strong drivers. We know Jeff Close. Man, there they are going out together. They must know we're watching. Let's ride on board with Jeff Close as he shadows his teammate. There you go. You can even see the big Iris logo on the front of the halo. At least it might be half of it that's been cut off there. So an otherwise flawless livery, and we get a great view of both of them here as Jeff Close follows his teammate in formation as we come to the final minute of practice. At least I hope it is.
We all agree. It
Oh,
should
here
be
we
the
go.
last minute.
A little
Jeff Close trying to go around the outside.
There. Bias behind now. Let's ride low as we go towards turn 7. Attack mode activation point on the outside there. And of course, unlike in real life, as we see
Whoa,
green
my
car
goodness.
spin. And that was quite scary. Tobias comes to a full stop as one of the VMS red cars squeezed through everyone there somehow. There were 3 cars
Sneaking
blocking the
through.
circuit there. I wonder if we're going to see any blockages
In the race
race.
itself? I knew you were going that. Yeah, I think we might actually. So we don't have safety cars or red flags, so it'll be interesting to see exactly how bad it's going to get.
Interesting because I have recently started commentating on highlights for the Formula Sim Racing, another R-Factor 2 league, of course. And in
Indeed.
their Indy Pro Series, I noticed they had to use a safety car in the final
Did
2
they?
rounds at Apple Valley and Indianapolis Motor Speedway, of course. As Tobias, looked like he was going to hit the 3 of 1, then the 3 of 1 went back to the pits, and so Tobias went straight on for no reason, it seemed.
I thought that might be a bit of contact.
Antonio Nippon, who used to be the team manager of Absidio Force Polonia, and still keeps a hand in the management side of a couple of teams and outfits. Antonio was listed as a safety car driver, and he's even listed in the championship standings with DNF at the very back. As everyone disappears from the pit lane, so I assume that means the qualifying server is taking over. So we're going to get underway, and we're going to see some excellent action at this Berlin Tempelhof circuit as the first group emerges from the pit lane. The first of 4
red light, though.
It's going to determine the order. So who is in this group, Joshua?
Oh, you sprung that on me to go forward.
Well, it should be on the Discord server somewhere.
I'll get it up. Qualifying Group 1 sees Jonathan Jones, Zazadi, Spam, Vardy, Caparoli, and Nielsen heading out there in that first group. As the green light is on, the session is underway.
There's Nielsen in the pit lane, stationary.
So he hasn't gone out just yet, then.
There we go. And it's a Blumshine, I think. Oh no, it was one of the Irises who's behind Jonathan Jones, or is it just a big purple car? Okay,
it's
I don't know who that is.
Out, big purple car. Reminds me of an Envision Virgin.
A little bit, yeah, or the old Envision Virgin. They're
of
dark
course,
blue
yeah,
and
now
green
now. Yeah.
They're almost unrecognisable. Well, they're not Virgin anymore, so I guess that's where the red is all gone. But Jonathan Jones first out the pits for into the points.
I think, Ed, that was perhaps your most Murrayism comment you'll ever make on a commentary stream.
I do tend to have a habit of outdoing myself, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, that might get clipped.
Just yet.
Hello to Newt as well, who says hi guys up in the comms box as well. I don't know if you read that out when I was disappearing. Because,
I've and Amir Mahmoud Oates has just written 3 ellipses. Or just an ellipsis, which is 3 dots, of course. So he's clearly speechless at something I've said. Did I do something wrong, Josh?
It could have been me, for all I know.
So anyway, it might have been my weird comment that I just made a few seconds ago about the Virgins. But anyway, Jonathan Jones starts his flying lap. Let's ride on board as he goes through the first corner. Long constant rates. Has to have a few goes turning that one in, but he's done it now.
Locked at the rears, didn't really.
Here we go, turn 2 and 3.
Get it through. He's nice with 2 and 3.
If you get turn 1 wrong, it really can mess up the rest of your lap because the turn 2 and 3 is it's such a kind of rhythm corner. You have to really have it set up well. And this also, 5 and 6 here, are a little different to the regular track because it's a little bit more twistier. There's like a couple of walls you need to avoid. As here goes Jonathan Jones through turn 7. Here comes turn 8 and 9. This is where we saw couple of drivers coming to grief in practice.
First sector
trouble
time
for Jonathan.
Yeah, first sector time's a 27.751, so that's a decent time for what we've just seen in practice.
It's good that we're watching. Oh, look how close he got to the wall there. That was a 14 he was just coming out of.
Very much close to touching as he comes into the braking zone.
At turn 15. Goes a little wide to avoid the inside, but gets a great run out of it.
Yeah.
Let's watch him as he powers towards the finish line. Here's the last corner. Left-handed, very easy to brake too late and completely ruin your lap. But here we go, Jonathan Jones powers towards the line. What time is this going to be for the into the points driver? It is a 1:18.7, so about a second or so off the pace from what we were seeing in practice.
Yeah,
as Spam Severin comes across the line in the Swiss E-Racing car, number 7.
I think that's a starter lap, isn't it? Not to complete.
No, he's just finished. It was a 1:22 he set.
Oh yeah, just come up now. My timing screen seems to be more behind on the than the pictures are. But yes, Spam second.
Valiant Ziddy. Some of these new names, or new drivers, their names haven't changed because they've had that name, I assume, for a long time. But I just not used to saying it. Yeah, so Hungarian sim racing driver Valiant Ziddy has just taken second position, 1.2 off of Jones's time. Behind him, we got Verardi, Spam, and Capirola. Capirola. There we go. As actually Ziddy is on a really fast time here. Let's see through the last sector. I always struggle with that exit from the sort of loop section. You saw Zidzi having to soar at the wheel to get out of that one. And here he comes towards the hairpin.
Back on the power, hopefully quite quickly. Really trying to find out what the...
Yeah, somebody's gone faster than him in the first sector. Not sure who, though. I'll have a look at the times. Believe it's... might have been Jones. But here we go. Zidzi powers towards the line then. And gets the number 14 car. Ooh, a bit closer to the lead.
P2.
8 tenths off.
Yeah, it's a
remember, we still got groups. 3 groups to go. It's Zidzi. The rear let go there. He just either left the braking a bit too late or braked offline. Where there's too much dust. The track hasn't rubbered in yet, Josh. And it's lethal out there.
Yeah, I got the marbles as well. And it just really hit the exit walls as well. Because when you're on to regen of braking as well, you just skid. And the rears lock up a lot. So it's not that great. As they come back through now, as we watch Spam, who was second, drop down to 5th. Vardy's gone 3rd on a 120.564.
Spam got that very wrong there.
He's splattered.
Indeed he has. Let's look at Capriola hustling through turns 8 and 9. Continuing to get his drift on.
Whoa!
In that big purple car. Oh, the 46 hits the wall. And that's going to cause some significant damage. Let's hope the steering isn't too compromised as he attempts to finish a lap.
Oh, yeah, it's completely...
That's what happens when you break into the wall, Josh, at turn 15. And look, the steering ever so slightly bent. But Capriola, fair play to him, is going back to the pits rather than just teleporting. He's going to repair that and come back out. Here he is. Oh, just in front of the little stack of tyres. And then he goes to the pits. So, really adhering to realism, Samuel Capriola.
Suppose he wanted as well just to see how much he could drive with a bent steering wheel in case it happens in the race. Seen a few of them glitching out.
Yeah, that is very common. Yeah. Often it ends up being a race of attrition in these EERC Formula E rounds. Anyway, that's Group 1 done and dusted. So it's Jones, Zidzi, Verardi, Capriola, and Spam. Your top 5 at the moment. We'll be going through to Super Pole. But we've still got 3 groups left to go with some excellent drivers in them. So, who's in Group 2, Joshua?
Joshua Hamilton, Pracker Norbert as well. Stifle is in there too. Wade is in there as well. Rosinski, and as well with Varkovic going out there on the circuit. Apologies if I said Wade's name wrong. It's I think it's Wade. You could probably see it better than me. That pronunciation would be Wade, wasn't it? Or is it Valid?
Abdel Rahman. I've been calling him Valid.
Valid. I think it'd be Valid then. Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on at the moment.
I'm not sure where Abdel Rahman is from, though. But here he is, about to start his lap, actually. He was first out the pits in the 22, I think.
Yeah, I haven't had my glasses on, so I apologise if we've made a mistake. 26 is coming out there now as well. Or I say 26, the car 26 out the circuit. The driver track is different.
Oh. So he goes to the inside quite early on the number 22 IPR car.
That's quite a nice line, actually. He picked the apexes up beautifully. He's nailed that first sector.
Indeed, he has.
Let's see what he can do.
Crushes the wall there. I thought he was going wide, and he's really gone offline. So, Valid, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to stay out the walls now, but the steering looks okay.
Yeah, steering looks fine.
Let's see what sectors the other drivers are setting as he goes through the first sector now. And Valid is being caught here, I think, by whoever that is behind in the green car. I think that's one of the E-Media Racing drivers, probably Joshua Hamilton. But Valid having a cleaner run, actually, through the loop. Is that what we're going to call it? I guess the extended section.
I guess we could call it the loop, yeah.
It sounds better than the extension. Like an extra bit added onto your house. Or a circuit in this case. As a...
The annex?
Maybe given world events at the moment, annexation is probably not the...
Perhaps not.
Not the best thing to bring to mind. But here we go. Valid powers towards the line. What time is this going to be? 1:19.8, which puts him third overall, which is immediately beaten by Rosinski, who was running right behind, and Joshua Hamilton, who also goes second. But not quite able... Hamilton, just over 10th, as Rakovic actually beats him in the VMS car.
1:18.346,
there he is.
yeah. I mean, it could have been worse. We could have called it the border.
But here we go. The number 63 of Rosinski takes another lap, and he's got Valet in front of him, of course. So he needs to hope. Oh, look at that! Lovely drifting there from the number 63 machine. Getting very sideways. And Valet also having some trouble up ahead as well. He may have to give way. Oh, this is going to get messy.
Closed in on each other, and now they've touched the curves as well, and they've touched.
I'm not sure. I think Valet might have just drifted and conceded.
That was very close.
Rosinski very badly held up, though. Joshua Hamilton, almost being held up as well, but he was fastest in the first sector there.
How badly is it affected him then?
Okay, well, let's see. Rosinski's going to get to the line first.
Steffi is... Look at Steffel. Fastest first sector, 27.3.
Oh, so Steffel's found a clean piece of track. Let's watch Joshua Hamilton tilt the line. He sets fast this time. 1:17.6, so that looks like him through to Superpole at the moment. But Steffel was marginally quicker in the first sector, but looks to have been delayed in the second sector. He gets up to second. It's just over 2 tenths behind Joshua Hamilton's lap time, but a very impressive lap time from Joshua. We saw this in the first season, some impressive performances from the E-Media racing driver. But it all seemed to fall apart in some of those races, didn't it, Josh?
Yeah, it did. And more times than many, it was a case of accidents letting him down. As a big slide there from Steffel. And who's dived back to the pits? Steffel.
Yeah. So that could be it then, unless Rakovic is on a better time.
Isn't that a country?
Reykjavik, that's a capital of Iceland, isn't it?
Iceland, yeah. I think it was Iceland.
Oh, lovely drift from Rakovic as he rejoins the main part of the circuit. We look fastest middle sector, actually. So the VMS driver in the number 5 giving it absolutely everything. This is going to be enough to get him a chance of being in Superpole. We go through the last corner. He drifts. Oh, and this is what I was talking about. You can have a brilliant lap and then lose it right at the end. Here we go. The start-finish line approaching. Rakovic goes third. Excellent lap by Milan Rakovic. Just a 10th behind Michael Steffel. But that looks to be everywhere. Norbert Precker, surprisingly, only just squeezing into 5th in the number 94. So that's bad news for the Dynaco racing team.
I wonder where they got that name from.
Yeah, easy to tell which movie Norbert Precker has been watching. Probably a Pixar one, I imagine, to do with motor vehicles. So who's in this next group then, Josh?
Right, Group 3 for qualifying. We'll see Sonneveld, as well, the two Sonnevelds are going to go out together. John Sonneveld and Gilles Sonneveld going out there.
Like Gilles Villeneuve. I thought it was House, is how it was pronounced, as we look at the loads of Ring of Honor drivers in this group.
I'll take your word for it. Lahoven, Cohen, Everens, and Nick Homewood is in this one as well. And
Sonneveld getting ready for his first lap, but trying to make sure he has a decent gap to the Ring of Honor cars, but also trying to make sure his tyres don't cool down too much. He's certainly going to be one to watch in the number 11 VMS car. The sun shines down on the VMS Sunnits machine, and Sonneveld starts the lap, Josh.
And as he heads down towards turn 1, nice on the brakes, hits the apex ever so nicely. Lock on as well, about 120 degrees as he turns in. Now over.
We're approaching the full 180 actually through sections there. And here we go. This is the tough bit, the high-speed twisty stuff. Can he keep it out of the wall? Yes, he can. Lovely start to the lap. And it's personal best, a little bit down on Joshua Hamilton's best lap. As he cuts into turn 7, no dramatics at the rear. It's all very neat and tidy so far, Josh.
Yep, and as I said, first sector time was a 27.355, fraction down on Hamilton's time.
Finally, the rear lets off just as we go off board.
That's going to be so
Sonneveld
crucial.
keeping it together.
The loop section is going to be dangerous on lap 1. You just tell,
And
can't
that's
you?
the fastest middle sector, so the drift worked out for Sonneveld. Here we go.
Well, it's working well.
Indeed it
Homeward
is.
to 8th. Homeward goes
There's
to
a
8th.
yellow flag in the final sector, so something's happened just behind Huey Sonneveld. But he should be okay. Here we go towards the line. What kind of lap time is this going to be? It's pole, provisionally,
Wow.
at the moment. Only 9 thousandths of a second ahead of Joshua Hamilton's best effort, though.
So the
So,
gap decreases. That's ever so
so-
nice to see.
Neil Others, not too far off of getting into Super Pole in 8th for the moment after his first run. Let's see if
Car
he can
switching.
improve. And let's keep an eye on the other Frinavon drivers as well. Nick Homeward down in 12th.